always be yourself unless you can be an advocate. Hey guys, thanks for joining me this week. I'm still here in sometimes sunny Florida. I've been chasing warmth for several months now, and I have, traveled quite extensively since May. But the girls and I wanted to hop on today and talk to you guys about advocacy and TBB. And so we wanted to reintro our whys, and it's a little bit different for each of us. So each of us will share the piece of it that is important to us. Not that all of it's not important, because it all is, but we each have our own little segue or passion. So I've got Brittany and Ashley on with me today, and they'll be sharing with some of, what we've been going through with TBB to date and where we're at. And then, kind of lending the conversation as naturally as it can be from there. So welcome. Thanks for joining and listening today. I'm Monica Morgan. I am a co-founder of TBB, which stands for The Burning Bra. You can find us on theburningbra.org. We also have a Kindful app or, site as well to raise funds. We started this journey because each one of us felt strongly, A, we were raised with strong women, and B, we each have a passion or a segue or a piece of our business that's really important to us. And so for me, it's really about women's empowerment and women's ability to believe in themselves and to really just be an advocate for themselves, but to believe in themselves, to chase their dreams, and to have the confidence and the knowledge that anything they set their mind to they can accomplish. And so my piece of TBB is really, sharing the passions that the girls have, and the help and resources they're wanting to provide, and the knowledge base to other women when they're, no matter what road, where they're on in their journey, or what road or path they're on, that we can meet them there and help them along that journey. Because as women, we carry a lot of responsibilities and a lot of burden, and it's just a given in life that women tend to juggle and carry more. And so it's been that way for years and years and years, and hopefully someday it'll be better, but we'll keep fighting for that advocacy in the interim. So I'm going to flip it over to, I shared a little bit about my why. I am again here to empower others and help achieve whatever goals, dreams, and beliefs that someone sets out to believe in. So I'm going to turn it over to Britt. Britt, if you want to share a little bit about your why and your piece of TBB, and welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, so I'm Brent Taylor. For those of you that don't know me, I am Monica's daughter. I am almost 28, and I live in Arkansas with my husband and our 3 kids. Our boys are adopted from foster care as of January 2021. We just celebrated their 1-year anniversary of being adopted. They are biological siblings to each other, but not related to anyone else in our family. So we did adopt them. And then we have a little girl who was quite literally dropped on our doorstep 10 days before we adopted the boys last year. And she was 5 months old, and she's now 18 months old. And we have an adoption date for her finally. So she will be a permanent part of our family as well. She is a biological connection to us. So she's what we call a kinship placement and a kinship adoption. So I'm related to her biological mother. And so that's been interesting to navigate over the last year, how that connection works and what we want to do going forward. But when I became a foster and adoptive mom, I really got a glimpse into both how the systems are really broken, especially to women and kids that come from hard places or have any kind of disability or hardship, really. And then I also learned what it meant to advocate. And so if you know anything about my story personally, I have had to advocate really hard for all 3 of my kids in very different ways. My oldest had some school issues that I had to go fight the school board on, like within a month of him moving in with us, to get him placed in the right classes. My middle child has had some mental health issues that I've had to advocate for to get him the help he needs. And then my daughter has had some delays that I've just finished advocating and getting what she needed from DHS. And so we've gone through a lot of advocacy, and through that, we actually launched the Burning Bra the day that our daughter was dropped off. And so that was a really cool moment for me, is on the same day that I was opening a nonprofit to support women, I gained a daughter. And so she has driven a lot of my insight over the last year of what I want the world to look like for her. And Ashley's had M in that year. And we just have a lot of little people in our life that we want the world to look better. And we do that by uplifting and supporting women. And so we've really restarted the Burning Brawl this year, and it's gaining some traction, which it didn't last year because it wasn't the right time. We all had so much going on last year, and as the whole world did. But we are starting to really be able to help some people, which has been the most amazing thing to watch happen. Not that these people are in, terrible situations, but that we can reach out and be a light in that darkness for them, and just give them insight that we have that they maybe don't because of our past in life. And so my piece of it really is kind of foster and adoption geared, but we're also launching a new piece of it that I want to provide those same services that are often available to adoptive and foster families to the biological families that are working towards reunification with their kids. Because if you've ever been involved in any kind of foster care or adoption scenario, you know that the very best thing for those kids is to remain with their biological families, if at all possible and safe for them. So we want to make sure those biological families have the same resources that foster and adoptive families do as well. We're also starting some support groups, and Ashley can kind of talk more about that. I think that's a good segue for her to start sharing her whys.
I'm Ashley Meador. I'm 27 years old, and this is my little one, M. I'm a bonus mom also to a little boy, and I got into TBV as a police officer. I specialized in domestic violence and sex crimes, and in that, it was pretty clear where our system was lapsing on that. If you learn anything about trauma, you'll learn that when your brain is in trauma state, there is hardly anything that you are going to comprehend and then compute into memory. There is so much going on when you're on scene, and there is a lot of resources out there for domestic victims, but when you're throwing it at them in the 20 minutes after their trauma, there is no way they're gonna keep that in their mind. There are pamphlets that are given out. However, if you have the statistics that it takes 7 times for a woman to leave, they can't keep a pamphlet. That's the most deadly time for a woman, and it is more deadly the more stuff they find. So in that, we started TBB as kind of a one-stop shop encyclopedia. It's one click over to a podcast or a foster story or an entrepreneurship story, some success story for other women, and then you're right back to your resources. TBB typically handles out as far as finding the resources that are needed. And recently we've been able to help a handful of women find and locate some resources. Some just need knowledge. One of the best things I had was just recently a woman, she contacted me. We actually talked from like 5 a.m. to like 6 p.m. that night. But back and forth, she had tried to leave a handful of times. And this time she said, I've never gotten this far. I just don't know what to do from here. And it's kind of one of those things my mom has always said, you just don't know until you know. It's one of those things you don't know what you're going through until you do. And then you find the resources that you need, but you have to have help navigating those, because the first thing that happens in an abusive relationship is the isolation, so that you're secluded from everyone and all those resources. So just being able to give guidance onto where you need to go, who you want to talk to, exactly what you're wanting to ask for. What is it that you need to get out of here? What is it that you need to be successful when you get out of here for you and for your kids, is where TBB is going. Now, granted, not all of the nonprofits are able to help. Since I'm based out of Tennessee, it is a lot of phone calling and talking, and there are pieces that get missed because I'm not the victim in that case. I don't know all of the ins and outs. I try and get as much information over, but sometimes that doesn't work. So sometimes we have seen where they're not able to help. In that case, we are trying to help build up our funds so that we are able to help and fill in those gaps where they're not. Recently, one of the ones that we had, she is just outside of city limits, and my husband, coming from a domestic background, made a good point. He couldn't believe that her location being 10 miles outside of the city stopped her from getting any of the help. But it's like that a lot of places. Their grants allow them within a certain boundary, and that's all they're allowed to help with. Because of that, we need the donations to help fill in those areas that you can't find any resources for.
So yeah, so basically, guys, what we're looking for is advocacy. We, we can only do what we can do. We're doing this and it's fueled solely on passion, right? It's fueled on our desire to help elevate other women. And elevation is a big word and it can mean a lot of different things. And so I shared a few weeks back that, we had our first full week of, a handful or 4 people or 5 women that we got to help. Those requests come in. So basically how it works is you go onto the burningbra.org's website. We have an intake form. Women are able to fill in the form, kind of outline what their scenario is, and then it kind of filters into one of the 3 of us. It either comes to me, to Brittany, or to Ashley, really depending on what we're talking about. And so, what we're seeking is advocacy, because I'm going to share, like I did a few weeks ago, we had a mom, to Brittany's point, that was really working to reunite with her kids. And she did all of the things she needed to do. And there are steps and measures that have to be taken for them to get their children back. And so sometimes it can be something so simple as missing a dining room table. And the Department of Family and Children's Services is going to come inspect those homes, make sure those moms are, doing the things they need to do and they have what they need. And so we were able to help her get a table. So yes, guys, what we're looking for is, really your help. And, I put myself on, a $10 a month plan to donate, and that's not a whole lot. But it's something that I just have happen monthly, and every little bit helps. And so, why we're coming back and bringing this full force is for a couple of reasons. And the reasons are that we have to be advocating for advocacy, number 1. Number 2, we're just 3 people with normal jobs and lives, and very full lives, I might add. Brittany's got 3 kids, Ashley's got 2, one's part-time but still there and still has needs in school and all of the things, and then our own lives. And me, I'm just where's Waldo and around the world right now. So there's a lot going on. I'm a business owner, and that's really been taking a lot of time. But long story short, we have a variety of ways that we're able to fundraise and to gain more funds. And to Ashley's point earlier, one of the women we had, she was just outside of city limits. And so, she had actually taken the steps to leave in a very ugly situation. She's fighting to keep her kids. She has her land payment. She has sold a lot of her furniture, but she had things that she as a single woman needed to accomplish, and we can only bend and lend so much. And so we really are working towards more advocacy. One of the things that you can do, you can go to the burningbra.org and you can sign up to be an advocate. You can, reach out to us if there's ways in which you could help or want to lend your services or free time, or, help women grow. That's one way to advocate that isn't costly there, other than time. We have our t-shirts. And so we have a couple of them. We have one that says "Burn That Bra" with a really cute burning bra on the back. Brittany has one on that says "Empower Women Support Women," and it has the burning bra on the back. And so that's one way. All of our proceeds, or anything that you ever see us put up in regards to the burning bra, all of that's going to go back into our business in regards to the nonprofit. Again, we're not drawing salaries. We're not doing this in a way that is other than fueled by passion and hopefully growth to support women, because we care and we want all women to have access to the things that they need to be successful in life, regardless of where they're at. Brittany, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes. So I just wanted to say, Mom mentioned it briefly, but we have a couple of ways that we could really use some volunteers. You don't have to donate your money. We can use your time too. And I know Ashley and I just had this conversation last week, but like she mentioned, she was back and forth with the mom all day from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is more than a normal work day. So if you have a passion in any of our areas, please reach out to us, because there is absolutely a way that I can use your time and your resources and your skills to help elevate and support these women. And so we have board members, and we'll be discussing more about that. But if you're interested in any of that, please let us know, because we can definitely use you.
For sure. Thanks, Britt. Great point. So in closing, I just, you got to see Em make her debut on our podcast. So that's Emmeline. She's 4 months old and our most recent member to the fam. But we have an ever-growing list of, or not list, but I don't know. We have growing grandchildren and it's been amazing. And Danny and I, it's the best job we've ever had in our life. So, we want to pour into and give back when and where we can. And so, I appreciate both of you taking the time today to jump on. I hope this was helpful for you all listeners in regards to, how can you help and how can you be an advocate and how can you support? And it doesn't always have to come down to dollars. I know that, the economy and inflation and all the things right now are a thing, but if you do truly care about women and their ability to either get out of a situation that they need to get out of for their own well-being and their children's well-being, or you care about, infertility or adoption and fostering, or you're just a woman that maybe you're super confident and maybe you've done really great things in regards to entrepreneurship or growing yourself or even in your career and your journey, and you could lend time to and resources in regards to working and chatting with other women. That's another way to help. And so what we're seeking is advocacy. You can advocate is simply by sharing this podcast when you see it and you hear it, sharing things that are on our social media channels. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, I believe we're on Facebook as well. So, there's a ton of ways that you can help support us. And that's what we're looking for is your support. So, Ashley's your go-to girl for all things domestics or sex trafficking and sex crimes, those kinds of things. Brittany's your resource for all things infertility, but fostering, adoption, those kinds of things. And then I'm just your catch-all girl of empowering you and building confidence. So I encourage each one of you women to go out there, chase your dreams, believe in yourselves. If you are in a situation where you need help and you want a place that is more lovey, less judgy, we're your girls. We're here for you. We're here to support you. We're here to hear you and not judge you. That's just part of it. And everybody's been through some stuff and you're not alone. And so that's our biggest message for everyone listening is that you're not alone. There are resources to help you. It's hard. It's stressful depending on what you're going through. And it can seem overwhelming and daunting, but know that you have a support system here in us. And that's what we're advocating for. So thanks again for joining. Thanks, Brittany. Thanks, Ash, for hopping on, and Emmeline for joining us today, our youngest women empowerer, our woman empower. And thanks for listening, guys. If you wouldn't mind, giving us a like and subscribe and also sharing, we would greatly appreciate it. Take care all and have a great week. Hey guys, if you like this episode, please hit like and subscribe.